Hi again, everyone. Welcome inside the Adam Jones podcast. We're in the process of season 3. We're presented by the Baltimore Banner. Of course, I'm Jerry Coleman. Of course, he's the former 5-time All-Star. His name is Adam Jones. He won't be the only former All-Star on the podcast today. In episode number 89, we're going to be joined by former O's slugger Mark Trumbo. We finally tracked him down. Also ahead, Adam and I are going to talk about the end of the Craig Kimbrel era here in Baltimore and the decision to demote one Coby Mayo, but it may not be the end of his season. Could be on the playoff roster. We'll discuss. In addition, we'll react to the unprecedented season by Shohei Ohtani and a wild story involving one Nationals player who decided to go to the casino a few hours, before first pitch, and it ended his season abruptly. We'll also tell you who won those 2 random Lido Pizza gift cards. They weren't so random during Socially Speaking, but as always, we bring in our featured guest. He is sponsored by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, the 2-time All-Star Mark Trumbo on the podcast. Mark, thanks for being here. I'll ask you what I asked Jonathan Scope just a week ago, and Scope had some stories about you we'll get into. But what have you been up to since retiring from Major League Baseball? I know you're not on a Caribbean island like Scope.
How do you know that?
Well,
no, I'm not.
Judging by the background, you could be in London right now for all I know.
Observant, yeah. I think I'm doing probably what a lot of guys do in that transition phase where you have we have a daughter that's just started kindergarten. I guess my last year was 2019, so a handful of years removed. Not quite ready to jump into the fire again if I wanted to go into the coaching world. Those hours are incredibly long. Selfishly, I've probably been a little more protective over my time. I have done a lot behind the scenes with some players around the league, but usually uncredited for many reasons. But it gives me a chance to stay involved, kind of keep it, abreast of what's going on in the game, and gives me something to do, because being in your 30s with too much free time is not always the best thing in the world either.
So. Big fella, always good to catch up with you. And I was wondering that transition, and you see us, our transition has been traveling. What has been one thing that you've been able to just really be excited about? Again, we played a sport for a long time, but we love that. What's now something that you're able to just be like, you know what, I can give my time to this, a hobby or something? Not like Marquez and JJ going and chasing damn goats on the mountain, but something that's normal.
I'll have to ask JJ. I did see him recently. I know he's playing a lot of pickleball. But I think what's the honest answer? Probably trying to play better golf. Always been a hobbyist guitar player, and getting the hang of kindergarten so far. Back to school night, meeting a lot of new people. It's not always been a strength of mine, but I think I'm getting a little bit better at it, and just trying to be involved, with all things with my daughter, whether it's gymnastics or swimming or things I know absolutely nothing about. I try not to be the hovering parent. I just kind of watch from afar and encourage, and I think that probably works out the best. Maybe a little different than I had it growing up, but I'm having a good time.
Love it.
Now, coming into the Orioles locker room, Jonathan Scope told us a story last week about how they tried to loosen you up because they thought you were too tightly wound. I mean, you came across too serious. What's your view of that story that Jonathan may have told us last week? I don't know if you caught it or not.
I did. I took a look, and I still talked to him, and he yesterday I had a few words. I still think, the fact that he finds my strikeout. I know someone else on the show also can't help himself. I don't think I'm the only one that's happened to either. I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm actually certain I'm not. But
I got struck out by Fagley. So you want to be embarrassed? Yeah, that's a catcher. Yeah, that was a catcher.
I don't have that on my resume, but if you'd like to go back and watch that slider, I still remember that. It looked good until it didn't. I don't know how I missed it, but it didn't miss me. As far as you know what, I think Jonathan probably has a bit of a point there. I don't think anyone's probably ever accused him of being too serious, but I could be mistaken. But honestly, it was probably great for me. I think part of what he may have seen going into it, I've been traded twice up to that point, once, twice, no, third, maybe the third time. So maybe Adam can relate a little bit. You don't necessarily become guarded, but it could trend that way a little bit. When you've been moved to you get comfortable, you finally get comfortable, and then you're told, hey, by the way, you're going across the country. And growing up in Southern California, maybe Adam can relate to this too. The Orioles weren't necessarily on my radar as a kid. Didn't know anything about them beyond, as an opposing player, you go in, you play a quick series, and then, see a little bit of the city, but not enough. And get in there, what I could tell is they had a really good thing going immediately. They had kind of a hierarchy with defined leadership, Adam being, at the top of the list, but with Wieters and JJ and Chris and Zach and Darren. Try not to leave anybody out. You can tell me if I'm missing a few, but you get the picture. There were a lot of people that were not afraid to speak up. We're not afraid to, tell a young guy, hey, maybe this isn't the way, or good job, and also they practiced what they preached. I mean, you went out and you posted, you played every single day. And I think it was pretty easy for a guy like me who could sprinkle in, some, you want to call it leadership stuff, but there definitely wasn't this huge void that, you're being brought in to try and plug a hole, because there's no leadership. That was actually really comforting. And I think Jonathan was probably right. I did benefit from guys, especially guys like him. He's probably on the polar end, opposite end of the spectrum. I was fortunate my first couple of years to have Eric Ibar, very similar, who I vividly remember at shortstop kind of feigning a smile my direction in game, basically saying, knock it off. And you're kind of hardwired. I think that's for better or worse. I wish things, I wish I was a bit more easygoing, let's say, but you kind of get what you get sometimes, and you got to work on it. I wasn't unaware that was a thing, but I'm never going to be, Jonathan either. Almost every guy from Curacao, they're all fun loving. They all have,
of course.
It's got to, there's, it's something in the water, or I think it's an attitude. I've had many teammates, and they love life. They love playing baseball, and they're all great dudes. They all speak 10 languages.
Do you think that keeps you younger? I mean, we start to get into our 30s, our mid 30s, early mid 30s, and then you get the young guy that comes and just always 22 years old with just this fresh burst of energy. Do you think that keeps you young, and you need that veteran and that young guy to bridge that gap?
Yeah, no question. I think having energy, wherever it can come from, is a good thing. And, if we want to reference, 16, I think 16 would probably be, for me, the epitome of good times with the Orioles. There was a great mixture. Manny and Jonathan were on the younger side, but I guess the majority of the team surrounding them, a couple of the relievers, I think Givens was younger, but we had, by and large, a pretty veteran team, but a capable and able veteran team where the guys were able to go out there and, play the majority of games, 150 plus games. So I think it was a really nice, time capsule where, a lot of people were in or around their prime. I don't know if you agree, but that's kind of what I think.
More coming up on the Adam Jones Podcast, but first a word from our sponsors. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Weinman Company. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for BetParks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. And for a limited time, 21 and over Adam Jones podcast listeners can get a $75 gift card to Greenmount Station simply for opening a new account with promo code GMS and a minimum $50 initial deposit. $75 gift card for new users in Maryland only. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The Adam Jones podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan? Experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones podcast.
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out with the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I never get back.
Marylanders are adding a 7th-inning stretch to their day with fast play home run riches from the Maryland Lottery. You could win a progressive jackpot instantly and enter to win cash for Orioles home runs.
It's my new ball game.
Hey, it's savings season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas all summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone. Proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore Ravens, and the Adam Jones Podcast. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955. Exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app.
There were so many highlights during your Orioles tenure. I mean, you guys went to the postseason. I mean, your first year as an Oriole, you ended that year playing in 159 games. You hit a major league high 47 home runs. What worked so well for you that season and what an introduction to Orioles baseball?
Yeah. I think part of it would be the previous year. I got traded midseason, which is never an easy thing to do, but I was able to work with Edgar Martinez. I've told this to anyone that would listen, but I think he made a really big impact on me. He was a guy that, as a kid growing up, I revered watching him. If that guy couldn't hit, I don't know who could. So getting the opportunity, and he was still really capable physically. So really what I did was kind of just handed him my bat in the early afternoon and said, "Hey, can you show me how to do this?" Because I think I was at a place where, kind of like most guys will go through. I wasn't at my best. I probably wasn't at my worst, but some things it wasn't clicking. And mechanically, he really helped me to shore up a few things, some concepts that I probably was semi-aware of. Let's say the inside pitch, for example. I probably thought I was a lot better at hitting it than I was. And I think as a player, you kind of have to. You don't want to give in too much and say, man, it's a downward spiral. I think ignorance is bliss sometimes. And I've seen a lot of the best players, they're not quick to blame themselves sometimes. So it's the bat's fault. It's usually the umpire's fault. Anything but them, and then maybe finally they'll circle back. But long story short, hitting the inside pitch it went from a weakness to more of a strength. And I think I kind of leaned into that with the help of Coolbaugh and, the teammates I had around me. I was just able to kind of, I didn't have to do too much. Everyone around me was putting up big numbers. So you just kind of try and fit in. You go out there and you're not counted on to do any more or less than what you're capable of. And, it's a good spot to be as a player, because I've been in situations where, I was asked to maybe do a lot for what I was capable of. So I know, beyond the offense, I was able to play some right field. Think what you want about that, but I did try.
Well, you had Adam to help you out over there in center, right?
I'm wondering, and I was thinking about this before, if he remembers the first time he really saved my bacon in the outfield, because it may not make, or it may not be the easiest of answers, but he really helped me out one time, and it was not when we were teammates with the Orioles.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Can you share?
hey,
I
please
was
share.
wondering if you could
He doesn't
remember.
recall.
So where would we have played together if it wasn't on the Orioles?
Mariners, Angels?
2012, maybe.
All-Star game.
Oh,
Yes, Kansas City.
At the time, things were moving quick. I doubt he even realized it, but I didn't get a very good break on a ball. And in comes Adam flying from center like it was nothing. And I was like, oh, man.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it probably sticks out more to me because I was like, that could have been really bad. But it was really a luxury. And I'm sure if you were to ask Kirby, he wasn't given the most stacked deck when it comes to outfielders at times. But we had Jonesy in center to pick up the slack. And I'm sure Adam enjoyed having me and, whoever was in left sometimes.
Trey.
Yeah, Trey, Ansu. The thing was, it's hard when you don't run well. It really is, I think that's what I tried to tell Trey more than anything is catch the ball cleanly, throw the ball accurately, and really try and do the fundamentals. Like there's no getting around the fact that you're never going to have great range. It's there's nothing you can really do about it, but you can be smart. You can put yourself in the right position as often as possible. You're not going to get to everything, but don't make silly errors. Don't make silly mistakes. Don't miss the cutoff, man. I hate seeing that.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way, at least you can be trusted. And then the bat, you can get it in the lineup. And I think that's a big thing for any young player is find your way into the lineup.
Do you think your time in Baltimore helped you just like relax? I mean, you've been traded a couple times before. You said mid-season, and then you come to Baltimore, then you get a 3-year contract to where you can just take a deep breath. Do you think that allowed you to be like, okay, finally, I know exactly where I'm going to be 2 years from now?
I think to some extent. I don't know if I was necessarily ever motivated by that as much as, every year I was, fiercely competitive, maybe too much so. I think working with players now, like I try and gauge which way the dial needs to be turned. And some guys are already running into the red in practice. And those are the guys that you need to, kind of have a little more feel with. It's not going to do any good to kick them in the rear and say, hey, man, let's go. They're already there. Too much so. They're the guys that need a little more perspective and realize that, there's a lot of failure in this game if we're talking hitters. And then there are other, those are the guys I always prefer, to be honest. The guys that you need to kind of give a gentle kick in the, it can be a little more difficult, but I think almost the majority, if not, major league ball players are incredibly competitive. So to answer your question, was I able to relax a little bit? Probably a little bit, yes. But I really just always wanted to perform. And I felt like I was, if you're getting paid a nice salary, I felt like I owed it to my team, the fans, yada, yada, to go out there and play. Probably to my detriment at times, playing through some injuries, but I think it was important to me.
Being a few years removed now from your Major League Baseball career, Mark, what do you miss the most about the major leagues, and what do you miss the least?
It's probably the same answer if you've asked other guys. The camaraderie, the routine, the day-to-day stuff that did not involve playing. I think a lot of casual fans are usually caught off guard because they think that, once you get done, you're dying to get back in the box and grind out, at bats against the best pitching and fight off 0-2 pitches. I don't miss that, to be honest. Maybe a little bit, but not as much. But you always remember as a player how guys made you feel. So when I get asked about former teammates, how was this guy? How was this guy? it's never going to be what they think. It's going to be stories that they've never heard usually, and just the way somebody, if you're a younger player, how did that guy bring you in? How did he treat you? How did he, make you feel? And likewise, as you age, I think there's a responsibility to try and be a good teammate and fill kind of the shoes, if we're talking about veteran leadership, that guys did before you. And I always felt an obligation to kind of do the best I could in that regard.
I'm talking about the Orioles now. They obviously a young team with, incredibly good, incredibly talented, heading to the postseason for back-to-back years. Obviously, formalities in terms of if they actually to clinch the spot. But what have you seen with them? The growth of these guys, the determination. Obviously, they're still young, so that the guy on the offensive side being a veteran, they don't have that yet, but they have an incredibly talented roster.
Yeah, I follow as closely as I can. I think I'm fairly aware of the current climate, and you know what? This is a tough ball game. It's the major leagues. They're playing for keeps. Momentum can be a big thing. Right now, I'm not sure if it's at an all-time high, but regardless, I think once the regular season wraps up, if they're a wild card team, whatever, all the numbers, all the stats, they're gone. Like, can't do anything about it. Maybe you're incredibly happy about it. Maybe it wasn't the year you were hoping for. Who cares? Blank slate. You got 3 games to go out there and give them hell. I still firmly believe pitching and defense goes a very long way. If you have 1, 2, preferably, or more really good starting pitchers, you don't want to face that team in the playoffs, despite your guys' success against a very good Detroit Tigers team. And was that 14 or 12?
14.
Okay. So,
that's an anomaly.
It is. It really is, because, you watch playoff games and good pitching generally wins out more often than not. So I think from everything I've seen, read, watched, the offense is maybe not firing on all cylinders right now. But you know what? You get in and you kind of, things have a way of working themselves out. Guys can get hot for reasons that you can't always explain. The playoffs, there's a lot of energy that goes with that too. Let's say you're a little fatigued, whatever. I think you forget about that pretty quickly when you realize, hey, we're in this thing and we got the next 3 games. You don't have that long, view that sometimes in August, and you start to get really mentally tired. There's some physical stuff too, but you kind of burned out. I think that energy comes back pretty quickly.
All your years, real quickly, it's my last one. Are you surprised at how wide open it is, Mark? There's no prohibitive favorite out there, it seems.
I am. I think that this year, maybe more than any, it really is. It gun to my head, I don't even know who I would probably lean on right now. I think every team has some chinks in the armor. Let's say, I just got done, because I'm out here, the local team being the Angels, playing the Astros. Excellent ball club. They are trending in the right direction, but to me, they're not the same Astros in some ways that people have seen in the past. The juggernaut that, you can almost completely pencil into making it really far into the playoffs. The Phillies have an excellent team. The Dodgers, have an incredible thing going, but I think they have some concerns on the mound as well. Teams like the Diamondbacks and the Padres, I think that's incredibly interesting to watch. And I think they're going to end the season playing each other. So, I think the Yankees probably are going to win the or AL East. You guys tell me, but it looks that way. But that's fine. As it stands now, maybe the Orioles and the Royals will match up in the first round. And, the Royals have a nice team, but I think the Orioles, I think that, they have a little bit better, in my opinion.
True. I wanted to ask, so the last 2 years, 3 years, baseball has seen some really unprecedented seasons. Obviously the base being expanded. You had 40-70 last year with Acuna. You got more 40-40 guys, 30-30 guys than ever before. I mean, I think there's probably like 30-20-20 guys in baseball. Then you got this guy, Ohtani, who's 50-50. And I think he's going to probably be 55. He's going to be approaching 60-60. As a fan of the game, I love to watch it. How awesome is it to see the game just becoming more exciting? There's more movement with the bases, more stolen bases, more exciting for these fans who said baseball was boring.
You know what? They're probably not wrong in a lot of ways. Taking somebody who's never watched the sport, trying to explain it, trying to, rationalize how 9 innings, and when we were, in the thick of it, those games could go 3.5 hours. It seems like the new rules, everyone's adjusted to them. The game is moving way quicker. I like that the stolen bases, I don't think they're out of hand, but they're definitely way, way up from what I was used to. I don't know if
these days you would have like 15, 20 stolen bases. No? Okay.
No, I think I could get a few more than I had, but and I played on other teams. I don't know what my career high was. It wasn't something to gawk over, but I could pick my spots. But if I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty certain, we can ask Buck, but he didn't like running into outs. We didn't run into outs. And I had played for, a couple other teams that had no problem with that. Like, it was a philosophy difference. Aggressive, puts a lot of pressure on the defense, but you're going to make a lot of outs too. And with the Orioles, I think we, probably more the Earl Weaver, like the pitching defense and the 3-run homer. And it was totally valid and worked great. I think this Orioles team too they're near the top in home runs. I think their offense, despite maybe the last month, whatever, is still a high-powered, can be a real juggernaut. And
with speed,
they do have speed too. Yeah, they have a dynamic offense. So, right-handers, left-handers. I think Westberg's back. He's a really nice piece. Anthony's had an incredible year. I'm not sure where Mountcastle stands right now. I think he's getting close. And you never know in the playoff. It's hard to, know who's going to get hot, and somebody could get incredibly hot. But to answer your question about the game overall, I do think it's more fun. I think, attendance probably shows that. And Ohtani, I don't have much to say other than I have nothing in common with him at all. And give that man his trophy.
You can hit that high fastball, though. We worked on that. You hit a couple balls.
He can hit that high one. He can hit the low one. He can hit all of them. I've never seen someone who hits more off front foot homers on off speed. Like, he can be wildly out of position at times, in my opinion, and have, I don't know if it's wrists or what, but just this ability to kind of stay on the ball just a little bit longer. Whereas I would have, and a lot of guys probably would have been happy with that single. Maybe it finds a gap. His go 420 feet, and they add up. He can put the team on his back is essentially what can happen. And you have a healthy Mookie Betts and a couple other, Freddie obviously as well, and Teoscar. Like, they have a good offense. There's no question about it. So some teams have great pitching. We're talking about the playoffs again. It's completely wide open, I think, because, the Yankees, they have a great offense as well. I don't know about their bullpen. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but maybe some issues there. So there's nobody that's immune.
No, he's one of one, and there's only one Mark Trumbo, and we're grateful to have you on the Adam Jones podcast. We've been trying to track you down for a while now, and thanks for being here this week, Mark.
Thanks for your time, big time.
Oh, absolutely. No, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
More to come on the Adam Jones podcast after these messages. Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. There are a lot of ways to make whiskey, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. At Jack Daniels, they charcoal mellow every drop, only using water from Cave Spring Hollow in Tennessee. When you make your own label, you make everything else yours too. But we don't need to tell you that, do we? Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks. 2022. Jack Daniels. All rights reserved. The Adam Jones Podcast welcomes Relief Shop. Shop, Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu, located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week, only at Relief Shop.
Your fun awaits at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Feed the whole crew with something for everyone, from cheesesteaks to crab cake sandwiches. Plus, ask how you can get a $15 dining credit. Get in on the gaming action with the hottest slots and your favorite table games like blackjack, roulette, and poker. Free live shows every Friday and Saturday. Come experience non-stop fun and excitement only at Hollywood Casino Perryville.
Hey Baltimore, Monument City Brewing has been crafting the best beer in Maryland since 2014. Located at 1 North Haven Street in Baltimore, you've seen us at the ballpark. Now drop by our tasting room. Open Thursday through Sunday with events, music, and great food trucks. And this year we are honored to collaborate with Adam Jones and the Adam Jones Podcast with Simply AJ Ballpark IPA, available throughout the baseball season. It's going to be a great year, Baltimore. Visit us online at monumentcitybrewing.com or follow us on Instagram at Monument City Brewing. Keeping Baltimore safe is an incredibly important job, and protecting those who keep us safe is equally important. The Baltimore Police Department leads the nation in supporting its officers with innovative wellness programs, free fitness classes, counseling services, citywide discounts, and more. Right now, the BPD is hiring. Join now and receive a $10,000 signing bonus upon swearing in. Build a meaningful career in public safety with the BPD and get the support you need to serve Baltimore effectively. Apply now at bpdrecruit.org. It's the perfect time to check out a spacious and reliable new Toyota SUV, like a RAV4, with available all-wheel drive and plenty of cargo space. You'll go from errands to adventures in no time. Plus, available features like wireless charging will keep you connected. Or check out a Highlander with seating for up to 8. It's a hub for family adventure. Your Toyota dealer is getting new vehicles in stock regularly, so don't wait. Find deals on a RAV4 or Highlander at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And now back to the Adam Jones Podcast.
All right, AJ, let's get to For the Birds. Great having Mark Trumbo on the podcast. Of course, For the Birds, sponsored by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. Hey, when you play the Maryland Lottery, set limits, never play when you're stressed, and know your odds of winning. To learn more, visit mdlottery.com/play responsibly. And you got to be 18 years or older to play, just like AJ and I. Now, this is our first podcast since the Craig Kimbrel release, ever since the All-Star break. He just seemed to lose it, Adam. And with each appearance, it seemed to get progressively worse. The fan base was clamoring to get rid of him, but they gave him $13 million to pitch in the postseason and be their closer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care about the money part, but it's just, I mean, he's going to the Hall of Fame. The game caught up with him. I mean, when he came in the game, he was 98 to 100, low 3/4 with that rise, that nasty slider. Now every single person is that. I think, he's still a bulldog and still wants the ball and still has the gall to go out there. Sometimes the game catches up to you. You know what I mean? It's I don't think it's a lack of stuff. He still is 94, 95, still has a very sharp slider. But sometimes the game is just these hitters, these guys don't care no more. They see the name, and I remember he's come up, they see the name. When you see Rivera come out that bullpen, you're like, damn. Like, it's something internally just told you, your ass is about to get defeated. They don't have, it's that fear factor when Kimbrel comes in is not there anymore. And once somebody loses that, then it doesn't matter. The hitters don't care. And you had guys, I remember Kimbrel when he came in the game, game's over with. You know what I mean? 450 something in that ballpark. So I just think that, the fear factor a little bit is they don't have it as much for him. But, it's tough when a guy's in his 15th, 16th year and you see this, you know what I mean? Because, again, he's been one of the best closers of our generation, if not the best. So it's just tough seeing guys get old. And sometimes, guys just get old. And that's just part of sports, you know what I mean? People get old. And what it is, you're expecting him to be a 29-year-old kid. Kimbrel, well, he's 36, 37. It just is what it is. No one is going to be there. Fans always say, oh, we expecting this. Well, look, are you expecting yourself to be the same 25-year-old? Like, Have realistic expectations, I believe.
Well, regardless, his next stop will be Cooperstown, whether he pitches with another team or not, no doubt.
Young kids. I mean, it's sometimes the writing is on the wall and perfect. Like me going to Japan was perfect to be like, look, this is your weaning out of the game. You got young kids. Go enjoy life. At the end of the day, like Kimbrel, knock on wood, can live 40, 50 more years. Enjoy life, and sports suck it out of you. We don't realize that. We give everything. Instead of Trumbo was saying, we crush ourselves. We crush ourselves for this game. Sometimes when you leave it, and these fans pile on it too, just when you leave the game, you just want to just like have nothing to do with it. That's why you see like a Markakis, a JJ, they have no stake in the game anymore. They don't want to, you are not seeing them at a baseball field because they knew that they killed themselves with this one thing. Now let me work on some other things.
All right, let's turn to a kid who's a lot younger than Craig Kimbrel, and that's Coby Mayo, 22 years old. After he got his first major league hit the day after, the Orioles decided to demote him to AAA, 117, 10 Ks in 7 games, but still a chance to be added to the playoff roster.
Of course.
Not shut.
No, I mean, obviously being a right-handed bat, and if Mountcastle is not healthy, then obviously you need a strong right-handed bat. His at-bats have been so sparingly to where it's hard for him to get in the groove. It just is what it is. I don't think anybody is I mean, especially me. I'm not looking at his at-bats and results and be like, oh, man, he can't hit in the major leagues. No, it's if you give the guy 50, 60 at-bats or just say, look, you're out there the whole next week. Don't worry about it. 0 for 4, 4 for 4, you're going to be playing the next day. If you do something like that, you can ease the tension. But if you just say, look, hey, I got an at-bat for you right now because we're swatching, but you're coming in and you're facing Valverde or, Alvarado or some just a big lefty who's a big hard-throwing guy, and this is your first at-bat. It's tough. So I'm definitely not down on him at all. I just think that he just needs to get consistent at-bats. And right now, there's no spot for him for the consistent at-bats. You got Urias coming back. You got Westberg back. So it's just hard for him to find at-bats. So I just hope that he keeps his head up and just realize that, look, my opportunity is coming. Keep being prepared, like I'm sure he is. He just has to get his chance. And so I've seen that many, many times with guys. And like I remember when Scope first got called up, he didn't have many at-bats and many chances. But then we had an injury, and hey, you insert the lineup, and things like that happen. So just keep your head up and realize that it's tough, and just find your at-bats.
Part of the growing process, no doubt about that. All right, let's go beyond Baltimore, a national and sometimes international perspective. It's all brought to you by Relief Medical Marijuana Dispensary, where they go above and beyond to help you, the patient. Shout out Connor Welton and the folks at Relief.
That's my dude right there.
Let's quickly hit on your thoughts, no pun intended, hitting on your thoughts. Shohei Ohtani's season, unprecedented. I mean, all during his first year with the Dodgers, Adam, and it followed a major scandal with his interpreter.
Yeah, but it's also he had major elbow surgery also.
That too. I mean, this is a rehab season.
Like he's they call him a unicorn for a reason. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to expect this next year when he's doing dual time on the mound. But realistically, is 40 and 30 out of the picture for him for like foreseeable future? Like, is he that kind of guy to where he can have 40 home runs? I think he can do 40 home runs no matter what. But 50, 60 bags, that's tons. But do you think he can be a 40-30 guy? And, what's crazy, though, is they were showing all the numbers and all the stats. I think everybody breaks it down. And they said this is the 11th best year of Barry Bonds' career.
Wow.
But again, we don't talk about how great and dominating Barry Bonds is, who I think is the best player to ever play. It just shows that, what Ohtani is doing is unprecedented. What Bonds did for that long is ridiculous. But as a baseball fan, it's exciting, and it's growing the game so much. Obviously, him being in LA and the Japan and the whole Japanese combination, like it was a perfect marriage between the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani. Perfect.
Obviously,
marriage.
That pep talk you gave him at the All-Star game.
He's been incredibly hot. I think it was my kids giving him a little pep talk, speaking a little Japanese to him, and just making him obviously make him feel comfortable. That's what I like to do. But he's a special talent. We have the same agent, and we talk, and we're just like he's flabbergasted by it also, because agents see a lot of special talents all over. Either it's high school, college, pros. This guy is like it's a video game. It's a video game. Like, he's putting up game. He's doing what I would do to my kids in the backyard, but he's doing it against the best in the world.
Now, Ohtani's interpreter, we know, got in trouble for gambling. Then there's Nets shortstop CJ Abrams. He was demoted to the minors after staying out all night and being seen at a casino in Chicago. A day when there was a day game at Wrigley, I guess there was 4 or 5 hours he was seen before, the first pitch. If you're not aware, I mean, when you enter a casino, the eye in the sky is always watching. I mean, there's not many places outside of a bank or a casino where your picture's not being taken all the time.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. And Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling had a good spat about it. He's like, 8 o'clock is, that's a little too late. He's like, now 4 o'clock I can understand. And it was like, he's like spoken like a true veteran.
He must have been on a big run, man.
And again, is this the first time it's ever happened to anybody? No. Have guys went on bingers and played? Yes. Have guys thrown no hitters on acid? Yes. Have David Wells threw a no hitter? He admitted himself he was drunk. So optics. You're struggling in the second half. The team's not been that well. It's all optics. If he was raking, nobody would care. Nobody would care. But I get both sides of it, and it's annoying that, again, people always want to take your picture and want to be famous and stuff like that. So whoever got the picture, like, cool, you're famous, yay.
Security's taking your picture when you walk in.
Right, but the security is never going to tweet out. I don't think the MGM Grand is going to be like, hey, Adam Jones just arrived at the hotel. They would never say that. And it's always the interested bystander who will double take. And I always said this: baseball players, I say the average white person knows what a baseball player looks like because they are the avid people that watch the sports. So everywhere I've been, if Scottsdale or anywhere I go, like, I always had that thought in my head of like, yeah, somebody definitely is staring at me right now. Oh, I know they are. And like when I go on the road and I go to bars or clubs like that, in my younger days, I always had that inclination, like, hey man, if I want to take a shot, like, I wouldn't just sit there and be like, give me these good bar shots. Like, I would be like, you know what I mean? Like, it was always that hiddenness because I knew that somebody was always looking at me, and it's just unfortunate for him. I mean, but it's the optics, and it sucks. I wish they didn't send him down. I wish they just kept it internal. There's obviously multiple ways to handle it, but again, Rizzo and company, they know what they're doing. It's their organization, so sometimes penalties happen, and I'm sure this won't happen again for him. But it's just the optics look bad. And maybe just cut it back to 4. No.
Yeah. Well, it cost him $30,000 in pay, but hopefully he won more than that in the casino.
I hope he did. I hope he won a lot more in the casino. But again, he's in line to have a pretty successful career. I don't think 30,000 is gonna deter a lot of things. Unfortunately, that's a lot of money. Yes, I'm not gonna say it's not. It's a crap load of money, but for a major leaguer, that's not that much money.
The next time, wear a hat and a mustache, kid. All right, that's my advice.
You got dreads, like who he is.
Hey. All right, let's get to socially speaking. This is where we answer a post on social media, and you earn a chance to win a $50 gift card from Lido Pizza, which is the official pizza of the Adam Jones podcast and a proud sponsor and partner of the Orioles. We're at Adam Jones Pod on social media, where 2 lucky folks won Lido gift cards this week simply by answering a very easy question. We asked, which segment during the Adam Jones podcast does Lido Pizza sponsor? And we had 2 people answer simultaneously. So we got to give up not 1, but 2 $50 gift cards.
Good.
Because obviously the portion is socially speaking. So Brian Roby and Matty Bowe, keep an eye on your mail. Once we get your address, you'll get your gift cards.
Can't wait. And beat that pizza down too. I'm talking about scarf it.
Yeah. Or try spaghetti and meatballs. That's my go-to a lot of times. Love them.
And see, it's crazy. The East Coast, like, you guys have, like, here in California, we pizza place. It's just a pizza. You guys have, like, the pizza, and then, okay, there's another big old menu. We got strombolis and this. And I'm like, gosh. I'm overwhelmed.
They got a whole big menu coming to Lido Pizza during the fall.
Yeah, and I love that because, again, you always say you want pizza, but then if you see some garlic knots, which I love, I'm gonna go that way.
And their wings are phenomenal too. I would not pass up the wings. All right, we want to thank our sponsors like Lido Pizza, go out and support them as they support the podcast.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Weinman Company. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for Bet Parks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. And for a limited time, 21 and over Adam Jones podcast listeners can get a $75 gift card to Greenmount Station simply for opening a new account with promo code GMS and a minimum $50 initial deposit. $75 gift card for new users in Maryland only. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan? Experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones Podcast.
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out with the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I never get back.
Marylanders are adding a 7th-inning stretch to their day with fast play home run riches from the Maryland Lottery. You could win a progressive jackpot instantly and enter to win cash for Orioles home runs.
It's my new ball game.
Hey, it's savings season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas all summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone. Proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore Ravens, and the Adam Jones Podcast. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955. Exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app. Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. There are a lot of ways to make whiskey, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. At Jack Daniels, they charcoal mellow every drop, only using water from Cave Spring Hollow in Tennessee. When you make your own label, you make everything else yours too. But we don't need to tell you that, do we? Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old Number 7 are registered trademarks 2022. Jack Daniels, all rights reserved. The Adam Jones Podcast welcomes Relief Shop. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu, located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week, only at Relief Shop.
Your fun awaits at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Feed the whole crew with something for everyone, from cheesesteaks to crab cake sandwiches. Plus, ask how you can get a $15 dining credit. Get in on the gaming action with the hottest slots and your favorite table games like blackjack, roulette, and poker. Free live shows every Friday and Saturday. Come experience non-stop fun and excitement only at Hollywood Casino Perryville.
Hey Baltimore, Monument City Brewing has been crafting the best beer in Maryland since 2014. Located at 1 North Haven Street in Baltimore, you've seen us at the ballpark. Now drop by our tasting room. Open Thursday through Sunday with events, music, and great food trucks. And this year we are honored to collaborate with Adam Jones and the Adam Jones Podcast with Simply AJ Ballpark IPA, available throughout the baseball season. It's going to be a great year, Baltimore. Visit us online at monumentcitybrewing.com or follow us on Instagram at Monument City Brewing. Listeners, tell your friends. The Baltimore Police Department is hiring the next generation of officers. Starting salary is over $61,000. Plus, you'll receive an additional $10,000 signing bonus upon swearing in. Apply today to start your career in public safety. This is a great opportunity to serve the city you love and start a career that makes a difference in your community. Apply now at bpdrecruit.org. It's the perfect time to check out a spacious and reliable new Toyota SUV, like a RAV4, with available all-wheel drive and plenty of cargo space. You'll go from errands to adventures in no time. Plus, available features like wireless charging will keep you connected. Or check out a Highlander with seating for up to 8. It's a hub for family adventure. Your Toyota dealer is getting new vehicles in stock regularly, so don't wait. Find deals on a RAV4 or Highlander at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
And a reminder, on October 1st, it's Impact Maryland, presented by the Baltimore Banner, a one-day immersive event. Impact Maryland, in partnership with Defender One and presented by Whiting Turner, will once again bring together the region's visionary leaders to interact and present in meaningful ways with the most engaged thinkers in the community to foster innovative ideas and creative solutions, the most pressing issues that are facing our region. Among the keynote speakers, Governor Wes Moore, Orioles owner David M. Rubenstein, Megan Conklin, and a whole lot more. Tickets are going fast. It's coming up October 1st. Head to impactmaryland.com. Also, thanks to senior executive producer Chip Franklin for putting this latest episode together. Chip was a field goal kicker in high school. That is, until his teammates kicked the crap out of him and off the team. Hey, until next week, be kind, be real, and make sure to be back for next week's episode. It is the Adam Jones Podcast.